Hi guys. Hey, yay.
Hello.
Hi. The
What's
Highfields.
up?
Yay.
Yay!
Are we coming through?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay.
We've got you.
Cool.
Highfields Meet the Access course here. Got a nice
Hello!
small group, so I think everybody will have a chance to ask their questions and have a real good conversation here.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. So I'm so glad you guys are here joining us. I think a lot of people are familiar with your work and have been studying your music, and some people have worked with you in the past. I don't know anybody on this call, but we know some people have worked with you. So I'm just gonna take a minute for you guys to tell us a little bit about your past, how you got started, and how, where you are now in the world of creating music, writing music, being artists. It's a long question.
That's all good.
That's a long
Let's
question.
see.
How far back should we go? When I was 5. No, I'm just kidding.
We want to know everything.
We were both in bands in different parts of, I was in California, she was in Arizona. We didn't know each other. My band put together our own indie tour, went on the road and passed through Arizona and played a show with Kaylee's band. And then we just kept in touch and then eventually just got married. So that's the short version of that.
That's how it works, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. No intention to do music together because we thought that's a bad idea.
Yeah. I'm like, that'll just ruin our relationship. Let's not do that.
Yeah, but I guess we couldn't help it. It just happened, and it was actually really nice.
Yeah.
So
It was very cool.
no drama, like a band.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's impressive, really, for like a couple to be able to do that. I know we've had some questions about that because we have like couples in the class who, try to figure out how to write together, work together. And one of their questions I'll just pop into right now since you're there was if you had any advice or tips to making it work as, the two of you. Like, how do you keep that professional diligence when it's easy to be like, well, let's just go do something else today because you guys, are together all the time. But you have to be like, we're working. So, yeah, how do you guys stay on it together?
How do we do
Well, we do have our like work schedule. So before, like now we're just 9 to whenever, but we wake up, we eat breakfast, and then we go to start working, start writing, recording, whatever it is we need to do. That just having an actual schedule, we have a lunch break, we have a like coffee break, and then get back to it. Before that, we were teaching a lot of lessons on the side, music lessons, and we still had a schedule. Even then, it was like we always had our mornings because we were teaching in the afternoon. And then, anyway, a schedule definitely helps us keep our sanity and like keep focused. I don't know if that's
really
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I think we just are really obsessed with what we're doing too, so it's hard to stop doing it. Even when we take breaks, we're talking about what we want to do next and what should we do better, and so there are definitely points where it's like, let's not talk about music like for the next couple hours because I'm gonna go insane if we can't talk about anything else. So
It's actually the challenge is finding downtime between.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, which is a good problem to have, I think. I think that's a good issue. But.
Yeah, no, you guys are really, putting the discipline in and the time and the talent and doing it together. And I think that's such a good testament to both of you as artists and producers, obviously. Which brings me to, why don't you share a little bit about the work that you've done and placements that you've gotten and how that, were you always doing placements? You guys were in bands and then you realized you were really good at recording and writing, or you tell me the story.
I don't know what you want to say.
Well, I guess we just started writing because we loved it and we knew we weren't going to stop. I think our connections earlier on were more like artist, pop world type connections. So we kind of just did that whole route where you co-write with like anybody you can find all the time, and hopefully you get your songs pitched. And so we did that for like a couple years. And we still do that from time to time, but then I don't know, I guess that experience of doing that and just hearing what other people were doing, it sort of just naturally, like, you get better, you know, when you do that. So I think by the time we met Kathy, we were at a good starting level where she saw potential, and then from there things really just exploded because she was able to give us such specific feedback about licensing, which was like the totally new world to us. Like I feel like there was a really big learning curve writing for licensing. And I think it took me at least probably like a year and a half to really feel like I could write like myself in that world, because you can't say whatever you want to say. Like in a pop song, you can say whatever you want to say, whenever you want to say it, and you're supposed to do that, and you're supposed to be edgy, and you're supposed to be like out there. And so I don't know, for me it took a little while to get comfortable with the licensing stuff. But I don't know, I feel like we've really discovered ourselves now, and it's super fun and we love it. And just that excitement of like writing to a brief and like, can we do this? Oh, let's go for it. Let's try. Like, I just really like the pace of the world. I don't know, it's fun. It's been fun.
And we started working with Kathy, and we got a few little things here and there.
Yeah.
And then we got some nicer ones, and it was like, oh, okay, I see how this can work. And, and then it was just, everything was kind of devoted to that. You know, I mean, we kind of pushed, I take that back. As soon as we met her, we saw the potential in her as well. And we knew that she was like a go-getter, could get things happening. Mm-hmm. And so we didn't waste any time with that. She was like, do you have songs? And we went, yes, here's one. And she's like, do you have more? And we went, yep, here's more. And I think in that first year, we probably sent her like maybe 100 songs.
Wow.
Or something, just because we didn't want to miss out. So we thought this was the right person. So
yeah, we learned so much. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I mean, and 100 really good songs. Like, I mean, I love what you said, Kaylee, about it taking a little while to find, like, so that you feel like you're writing from yourself and you're not just writing for sync, but you're writing, you know, as who you guys are as an artist, and finding that voice, but also just hitting the certain things that you know really work for sync. And that learning curve, it takes a little while, but you guys have like create phenomenal music that feels so authentic to both of you. You know, it's not like you're writing jingle music, you're writing like the Highfields, which is always good. It's always like, you know, you could hear it on the radio, you could hear it on TV. It's really great. And it's a testament to the work that you guys put in and the talent that you have.
I hope so. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would say that I don't know how to do this thing, by the way. So if you're looking at the comments, I'm not sure how that even works.
But, I know, we're not very good at this.
Okay. We'll like take time to go through them.
But I saw someone say something, I think I saw it there, were the first 100 songs good or something like that.
Not all of them.
No, definitely not. There were some that were good just because of the sheer volume and the odds, but there were plenty where we were trying to figure out what licensing was, and like everything just, you know.
Yeah.
Well, half the time, you know, we were doing what we thought, you know, we didn't respect it at that point the way we should have. We're like, it's cheesy, and like you just say like happy, 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 and it's a great, and then that'll make you $1 million. It's like, and maybe you could get lucky with that, but I tend to think that the people who believe when they're singing happy, 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 maybe they make the money, but I can't write that and feel genuine. And those songs never really worked for us.
Yeah.
Like they never got anywhere. The ones that we thought, I can sing this lyric and find something real in it, those are the ones that actually worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway, so, but the first 100 songs were definitely not all good.
Yeah.
There were only a few. Oh, Sonnet's paused.
Yeah, I think that so many people can relate to it. What?
You're back.
Okay. No, I think that's something that everybody can relate to here. Just like trying to find it's not just like, oh, I got all the pieces and I put it together and I'm done. You know, there's like that learning curve, putting yourself into it, putting these other ingredients. And I think that that's something super relatable. So I'm just going to pop on over here to some of these questions. Let's see. Do you guys write in the same room together, or are you writing in separate rooms?
It kind of goes back and forth. I think for a couple of years we always wrote together, but lately it's been separate. Like I'll go do my thing for an hour, and he'll do his, and we'll come back and show each other what we've done. And it's just been kind of this cool, like, I don't know. That's how it's been working lately.
Yeah.
It seems to evolve.
We just, we kind of always just go with whatever is spurring on our ideas at that moment.
Yeah.
So if we're like, if nothing's happening when we're sitting here together, then we're like, let's go somewhere else. And, hopefully that works. And usually just getting yourself in a different frame of mind for us works.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and sometimes, I don't know why lately I need to like just be in different locations. It's really weird. Like I can write like in a little couch in our kitchen, and like that's a better spot for me. And all of a sudden I have these new thoughts, as opposed to like the room I've been in every single day. It's just really strange. Like sometimes I need to just go find a corner and see what happens. So it's weird. Yeah. It's different all the time.
The creative process.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Process. So then can you share how your process working on a song composition from the beginning to the end of the recording process? You might be always different, but do you guys have kind of like a process that how it works for you guys?
It varies, but it definitely, there's kind of a general form. More recently, we used to start with like music and then just come up with stuff over it. We had a track that we already created.
That's true.
With a feel that we thought was good, and then we just, see what happened lyrically. Recently, though, we've been thinking hook-wise all the time. So it's like we're just throughout the day where if something gives us an idea for a hook, it's like write that down. We're going to come back to that. And then, so now like the process generally for us is we have a hook that we think is spot on for something. Then let's see, what would you say is next? I feel like we kind of come up with the rhythmic feel for it. I like drums a lot, and I like to start there. I just want to know that, to me, dictates the whole feel of the entire song and how the lyrics come together too, because just the rhythm and phrasing informs so much of what you can use lyrically. Like a lyric doesn't feel right, in certain contexts, or it does in others. So I like to start there. And then I think we sit together. Once we have kind of a rhythm, we sit down and we like come up with the whole hook.
Yeah. We'll suss out the whole hook. And usually the verses too.
Yeah.
And then I think it's just building the track around that, like just going back and tweaking and adding stuff and taking stuff out, and just that endless process of like double checking. Giving it time, like listening fresh. Like we actually kind of get excited when we write something and we forget it by the next day. And it's like, okay, don't remind me. I want to go downstairs and I want to hear it like I've never heard it before. And all these things hit you like, well, that's wrong. Why is that in there? Or that's obnoxious. Take that out. But you need that space, to kind of figure it out. And so I feel like that's probably the most important stage, is when you just allowing yourself to like listen to that tiny voice inside your head that's like, something's not quite right. Do I want to let it slide? And you should never let it slide. You should always listen to that voice, even if you don't figure out for like a month what's bothering you. Like, just give it time. Let it sit there. It'll happen eventually.
I would say usually in that case, that, like she said, I think that's a big part of our process at the end, where it's like we're listening back and we're like, we could say this is finished, it sounds finished, but every time it passes by, this, minute and 30, I'm like, we could do better than that. Or like that vocal delivery was not quite right. But, if I listen to it 5 more times, I'm used to it at that point. And we never go back. And those things add up. And I always noticed, like, I would do this a lot more in the past and hopefully not as much now, but I would listen through songs and I would have a million of those moments where I'm like,
It's fine.
But
It's
somehow you can, as soon as it passes, you can forget about it. And, if you can avoid passing those moments up, I think it makes everything just so much better.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we're still learning how to do that. It's real hard.
It's real hard.
I mean,
because you get
no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, because everybody gets tired, even if you love what you're doing. You definitely get to that point where you're just tired and you're done, and like, I don't want to think about this anymore. And it's just a discipline to maybe just recognize, like, I'm exhausted. I think I need to take a step back from this for a second and be refreshed, and then make the choices I know I need to make, even though I'm too lazy and tired to do it right now. So it's crazy. It's interesting.
That's such good advice. It's so good though, because I think, you turn in something and you're like, oh, well, it could be better, but I'm going to submit this anyway. I mean, or you submit something that this is at a caliber that I know can win. Like, you're not going to submit something to a music supervisor that's like, well, I know it doesn't really match what the other songs that you're listening to are, but it's as good as I could do today.
Yeah.
But that's just not going to get you there. You have to have that discipline. It's a really good point that you bring up for everybody to take note of.
Yeah. I think we've wasted a lot of our time.
Sam wants to know. Wait, what?
Oh, I think we've wasted a lot of our time. Submitting things that weren't ready to be submitted. Yeah. Basically.
Well, but when you have a deadline too, it's like, I'm just going to go for it and do my best and throw it out into the world. And that's also really important. Like, don't trip yourself up either. Like, you do have to push yourself. You do have to move past stuff. You do have to let things go. So I guess it's just that balance, finding that balance every time you're doing a song. And deadlines are helpful for that, because it's done and you got to just let it go. So it's interesting.
Yeah, good point too. That's true. It's a fine line. That's really true. What instruments do you both play?
I play violin and very, very, very minimal piano, basic chords. And I guess that's it. I play two.
Yeah, and I do guitars. What's that?
What did I see
she
you play?
I can sort of play the mandolin. I'm not, because it's the same fingering as the violin. But I'm not great with it. But that's fun to mess around on. That's fun to try.
I play guitar and noodle around on the piano as well, and some drums.
And bass.
I'm definitely a guitar player.
Yeah.
But
I'm a violin player. Those are like our strong.
But I'll play anything.
Instruments.
Oh, and I've played trumpet and trombone on some of our stuff too. So I'll do whatever. With
your third grade elementary school education.
Well, to be fair.
Well, it served you well.
Grade, but,
was it seventh grade? I'm sorry. I thought it was third grade that you took trombone.
I think that's amazing. You guys are like a 12-piece band. If you need, it's pretty cool, actually. Kat wants to know, what is the most useful feedback you got from Kathy while you were still building your skills and still figuring things out?
Oh man, that's a big question, because there's a lot.
We already touched on.
There's a lot.
We already touched on this a little bit, but I think she never said this, maybe, or maybe she did specifically, but I think she portrayed it to us, which was her respect for licensing. So I don't know if anybody
that's definitely
here
true.
Also has that issue, but we had that issue to begin with, and we've seen it in a lot of people. You think of silly ads, like, well, I can do that, and she never acted that way. She was like, I want great songs, and it came across eventually to us that, like, you have to treat it like it's real music, because it is.
Because it is. And, she's an artist, and she writes from her heart, and she writes what she believes in, and you get that. People get that instantly. Yeah, that was a really important lesson, I think. And I think just because it was a style that was so foreign to us, we thought this is kind of silly music. I come from like a super moody, like art band, you know, like really depressing music. So it was just a really big switch, you know? That's definitely true. Like her authenticity is very key and very important, I think. She had a lot of specific feedback. I think just about like, I don't know, just I would say about lyrics, like, oh, well, that's cool, but don't say that in an ad. Like, can you go this direction with it or that direction with it? And we'd like, yes. And we loved it when she had changes for us, because we learned every time that happened. I'm trying to think of specifically what those changes were, but that was another important thing to learn. I guess a lot of artists don't ever want to make any changes to their songs, which I totally get. It's really difficult. Like, you put so much time and you put so much of yourself into a thing, and then someone says like, we'll change the main word in the chorus. It's hard not to feel like, that's the whole point. I can't change that word. Like, what, are you serious? You want me to just throw that out? But like, I think it's so important to remember that, like, if you're a songwriter, this is what you do, this is what you love, you're gonna write another song. And you really need to let every song be its best. And I don't know, I guess just, and I really feel like that served us in this industry, just our willingness to make the changes that people want. Everyone's been surprised by it. Companies have been surprised that, like, we've rewritten hooks before, and like instantly they're like, well, this doesn't quite work, can you do this? Yes, of course I can do that. I'll use the chorus that I love in another song. Like, I'll take my chorus and I'll write new verses, and I can still have that song and it can still be mine. So that was a really important thing that we learned from her, I think, just through doing business and just through, just through getting asked for certain things.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, she said the one, so we got it covered.
Okay.
Well,
there's a lot there.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I think that your flexibility and like professionalism is so key. You know, it's like, I'm like, can we clear this? You're like, yes. You know, you change this? Yes. Like, it's always like, I'm on it. I've got it. Here's a song. You know, I like send you some ideas and you're like, here's a song. It's amazing. Done. Like, you guys are really in it. And it's good. I mean, I think that's what really makes, you know, that draws the line between almost there and, like, you know, leading the way, which is so important. You want to be like, and it's a small business, so we talk about being easy to work with and being humble and like doing the work and showing up all the time. And I think it makes a difference in this small industry.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, do you guys, like, making the song the best way they can, do you guys ever revisit old songs, or do you just keep making new songs?
I think every once in a while we've gone back and, like, especially like if a brief comes in and it's asking for something specific and it's like, oh, I have a chorus that kind of says that, maybe we can tweak it, or we've done that a few times, but I think mostly we get so excited to do the next one that we usually just barrel forward and write something else, because
It's always more exciting.
we just love that process. And I feel like people are like, oh, what's your favorite song? And I'm like, whichever one we're working on right now is my favorite song. And I just feel like that's always true, because the process is so much fun, you know?
We do have a huge list of hooks and things that never worked out that we thought were good, that we intend on going back, but the list is kind of just growing, and I don't know if we'll get to them or not. Occasionally, though, something comes up and we do, but it's not a habit, really. We like to let things go and to go on to the next better thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you guys see current trends that are happening, and how do you keep up with the trends? Do you have like a method of staying up with things?
Watching TV.
Watching TV, which which is fun for many reasons. I listen to the radio a lot.
I would say that a trend that I see, maybe I'm wrong, but just from our experiences, it looks like ads are more and more pop, really. Like they're just going that direction a little more. So listening to the radio is actually feels semi-useful. Whereas before it didn't seem like they were doing the same thing. There's at least more of it. There's still that indie vibe going on ads and stuff, but
pop is a lot more indie now too. So like
yeah.
The worlds have just sort of blended together more, I think, which is really exciting. I feel like there's just so much cool music everywhere. Like I sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Like I don't have time to like hear all of it, but there's so much interesting creative stuff going on right now. I think it's just really exciting. It doesn't feel like there's this world and that world. It feels like it's all just creativity and music.
It also helps to keep up with all your emails and things like that too.
Oh yeah, nice. Also that helps a lot.
I like those.
Yeah, which I'm doing just the same thing as you guys are doing. So, you know, and also what we see, like what's coming in. So that helps kind of just see the pulses.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, you kind of can see the trends before they start happening because you're seeing what they're looking for down the road.
Yeah.
How do you guys decide which songs to release on iTunes and Spotify and such?
Oh, to release?
What's your release strategy?
For a while, we were just, if something got placed, we were going to release it. Then occasionally it was like, well, that's like a little kid thing, and I don't know if we want to put that, you know, as our persona. That we've started to like curate who we want to be a little more in the last year or two. And so now it's like, maybe we should release a couple things that may never get placed, you know, but along with some good sync-worthy things, but do some stuff that reflects just stuff we enjoy. It's cool.
It sounds cohesive. Like you're not going to have a super bubbly song and then a super swaggery song. Like I think we're thinking a lot more about when we put stuff out, maybe it should just try to be a certain vibe or be a certain feel. That's still something like that we're figuring out for sure, because we love to write so many different styles. Like we love to get our hands on whatever we can do. So it is a challenge to figure out what to put out there. You know, like what actually gets released is, still something we're kind of trying to perfect, I guess.
Yeah, there is a perfection to that. But I mean, I love the idea you're going for right now with your EPs, and your music video is phenomenal. And
it was fun. It was so fun.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, how did they do that? If you haven't seen it, check out their music video. It's the newest one, right? It's like got coming down and
everywhere.
Really,
yeah, super fun. That was super fun.
Let's see, what's the next one? We've got lots of questions coming in. It's super fun. My questions I haven't even looked at. We've just like. Let's see, some of these you guys have already kind of answered. Do you guys play out? Are you touring? What's your playing out philosophy? Or is that just
we haven't played out very much.
Our philosophy would be good to do.
Yeah.
But we just write so much, and we just haven't focused on that in so long. Like, we played ourselves out in our bands, I think.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to write music. So the reason we're doing this is because we love writing.
Yeah.
It's not as much a stage thing for us. It's fun.
I was going to say, I think we would have a lot of fun if we did that. It's just like, it's almost like it's just not at the forefront of our minds right now for whatever reason.
I would say it's a beneficial thing to do. It would benefit us if we could find the time to do that in the sense of being a real artist, you know, in the eyes of supervisors and all that. I think
and connecting with people more, just meeting people more. And just meeting fans or people that relate to you and that kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's kind of sad not to be a part of like that community. But it's just, I don't know, to me it feels like a season where that would be really, really hard to do, and it would disrupt all these other things that we're trying to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's like an ebb and flow to it.
Yeah.
Like, where are you putting your focus?
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like I hate playing out and I'm never going to do it again. It's just not been it's for whatever reason, it just hasn't risen
the last
to
show,
that level of priority as much as writing has, for the last little bit.
The last show we played was 2015.
Yeah, well, it was the Catch the Moon placement.
It was for an ad. So
we call it the show because it was one show like 2 years ago.
Let's see. Some of these. How do you keep your hooks organized to work on the next one? I think this sort of thing comes up a lot where people are trying to figure out how to organize all the music that they're creating, so do you guys have a system for organizing?
You mean like just keeping track of
here are our songs, these are where they are at, and like this one needs this still, this one needs this still, my hooks are all ideas are here to come back to. Do you have a system like that? Or some people are very like system oriented.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, voice notes.
I wish I did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like la 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 whatever, hook in the phone and label it, and then hopefully we go back through it. We're pretty bad at keeping all that organized.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like all new ideas are usually in a voice memo, and so like the work that we're doing is the work that we're doing, and then when it's time to start something new, I know that's where all my new stuff is, and I guess that's the most organized that we are, is like to that level, which is not very much. So I don't know if that's helpful.
I mean, they're organized. The recordings are organized on our hard drive, obviously.
Yeah.
But, and a lot of times, if we have an idea, it immediately goes into, the folder with all the sessions. We'll open up
We'll
Logic or whatever and record something and label it, and we'll know where it is. But
that's hard.
No cool system we have.
I think it's different for everybody. We all have like different ways of thinking and organizing, and like you might know exactly where it is, but doesn't mean that it's like in your spreadsheet. It means like 7 weeks ago, voice notes, there was this one. It's like we just have different ways. Everybody has different ways of organizing, and it's totally
definitely.
Together. But a lot of people like to have things laid out, so they're just curious if you have something similar.
Yeah, that would be helpful to me if somebody figures that out. They can let me know, because I need that advice.
Emails on how people do it. So that's you'll be getting some ideas, I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay, Cage has a couple of questions that he posted on Facebook. So it appears that you made a decision, adjustments, or turned in your style, let's say within the last 2 years. Was that a creative move or something more tactical with placements in mind? Or maybe you guys can talk about how you pick your different genres and styles, because you do kind of are able to do everything, but you always have like this Highfields sound. And I'll let you guys talk about it.
Let's see.
That's interesting. Well, we've definitely tried ones that don't get great responses. So we don't focus on that anymore. So it's really just like a process of elimination. We like to try everything because it's fun to us, but people really do respond, one way or the other. And it's just really great feedback to kind of know which direction you should go. I don't know if that answers the question.
As far as we put out this last EP, and we felt like, let's make it more cohesive, and let's, use a similar production style. We were all over the place because we were just writing to every brief. So we had, little acoustic songs, and then like loud punk songs, and, electronic stuff, and, everything in between. And we were like, we need to put something out. And we're looking at the music, and we're like, I have no idea how this would make any sense on a record together. But we had a couple songs. There was like a little trend where we were hearing something kind of similar to what we've been doing. I don't know. I guess we just wanted to incorporate a little more of the electronic side of things into what we're doing, just 808 kind of stuff.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It was creative because we thought this is a really fun sound. We did one song. I think "Bold" was the first song.
Yeah.
We did kind of in this style
or timeless actually.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I guess so. But we always liked that one, so we always wanted to come back to this song that we got placed maybe 3 years ago. Timeless. And so then we saw this other little trend, and so we did the song "Bold," and that got placed like right after we sent it over to Kathy, basically. And we're like, this is a good sign. So that was a good decision point. It was like, this works. And so we're like, let's do more. And I guess that's just how we ended up with it. It's not very interesting, I guess, but...
No, that speaks to it. I think it's like a natural progression. You're kind of like your influences are changing, your ears, and you want to try something new. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And his second question, I know you are monstrosely talented producers and have been for years. This last record you completed walked from the role giving it over to someone who I know it is. I'm not sure what the question is. Okay, this last record you completely walked from that role, giving it over to someone who I know is not. You guys produced your last record. Maybe he thinks that you didn't. I'm not sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Adjustment.
We have a partner who we also work with.
Oh yeah, we have a partner who works with us on everything, but we produce all our own stuff.
Yeah, maybe I'm not sure of this question. I'm not sure of this last question. Maybe it was more. Anyway, we'll move on.
We work with someone though. So
yeah, but you guys do the majority of your production on all your.
We at least do like the fundamentals. You know, occasionally it varies a lot. Like sometimes we'll take a smaller version of the song over and work it out with our other guy, or we'll just do it all, and he's an amazing mixer and he just makes it shiny and awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically us doing that.
But it's all self-produced. Like it's all our team self-produces.
Right. How much time do you have between getting a brief for a song and the deadline? I understand it's not always the same. But do you have a ballpark?
Yeah, it just depends on the brief. I think the shortest one we ever got was like, it was due in like 4 hours or something.
No, I feel like
Was it less than that?
Oh yeah, it's like, can you have this in an hour or
something?
something?
Well.
I think...
that's stuff that we don't usually write for in an hour.
Yeah, we don't. Although, the Petco thing we did, that was...
Oh, that's true.
That may have been like an hour. Like, do you have anything for this? I need it in an hour. And we didn't, but we had a song that we didn't really like and we hadn't finished it.
Yeah, it
had a different hook. But I was like, oh, it's in the right style and I don't really like the hook at all. So let's just replace that with the words that they need.
Yeah, because we liked the verses, I remember. Yeah, that's true.
And they said they need a song that says, gimme, gimme, or something like that. And we're like, I'm replacing the chorus now with gimme, gimme, the end. And we just laid down the vocal and sent it out. And they're like, perfect.
That one was crazy.
That's unusual.
That's unusual. That one was crazy that worked out. Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's anywhere from like a few hours to, I think a week.
Weeks.
I don't know that I see longer than a week usually. Yeah, you probably know the answer to that better. But
I mean, I think it's very the same. It's like, and who knows exactly? There's not just one answer. I mean, it's fast most of the time. It's not like, hey, we've got a month for you to turn this around. You know, that's never.
Oh yeah, I've never seen anything like that.
Get it going. Turn it around as fast as possible. They needed it yesterday.
Yeah.
They'll give you a little extra time because it's always fast.
Definitely.
So let's see. Sam said, can you guys like travel and do your music which I think is fun because you guys have like gone down the road and like set up, you don't have to just be in your home to record and do work. So how does that work for you guys?
We actually just got back from San Diego because my dad went on vacation. And he's like, hey, do you want to house sit for 8 days? And we were like, yes, we do. And like wrote the whole time and saw San Diego and got a ton of like work done, which was great. But yeah, we've kind of intentionally tried to build up a mobile situation just so we can be flexible and have that,
it's nice to
ability.
It's nice to do it somewhere else. You get sick of the same room.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, for sure.
Time.
Yeah. It's nice.
That's fantastic. You guys can be like mobile and doing your thing, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a couple of songs, 5 songs from people to listen to, and then you could, listen to the first verse and chorus, and then just give your feedback. It can be from a production standpoint, or just said like, how syncable is this or not, based on production or voice or whatever side that you want to take, angle that you feel is right.
Cool.
So I'll post the link, and then you guys can play it on your end.
Oh, okay.
Oh, how does that?
I'll post the link in the chat.
Okay. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
Well, the audio will be like a little muffled for us, but you'll get the right audio this way.
Oh, cool. So we'll be able to like really hear
You'll
it.
be able to hear it directly from your speakers this way.
Cool. Okay.
So this is from Struck, and it's called Spectacular.
Okay.
Cool.
Slowly loading. Oh, what?
Oh no.
Safari can't open page. Let's see.
Oh. Let me see if it opens on my end.
It says too many redirects.
Too many what?
Redirects.
It's opening on mine. I can play it from here, but then
yeah, it'll be hard to hear.
It's just like a different sound quality.
Yeah. It's not opening.
No.
Oh no.
Okay, I can do it from here and share my screen and sound, and then just let me know how this sounds. Let's see if we can do this.
Okay.
Bummer. That's a bummer.
Should be fine doing it this way since I'm sharing my computer sound.
Cool.
It's called Spectacular. Just give me a...
XBS, struck by sound. I'm like a meteorite taking flight through the night. There's a land in your sight. I'm like a tornado with the speed and spin everywhere I go. I'm like a lightning strike, 20 gigawatts, and the whole city will see the light. See the light, and the whole city will see. Spectacular. Turn it on, turn it on. Spectacular. Rushing by, rushing high. Spectacular. What a scene, what a dream. Spectacular. Getting chills, seeing thrills. I'm like a poppin' 45 bustin' out, yelling out, hey, I just arrived. I'm like a laser beam with pinpoint precision on the target I did. I'm like an...
How is that audio?
That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Cool.
Yeah. I think
That's rad.
I was gonna say. I mean, Sana, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a huge void in the licensing industry for anything hip hopish at all, and there, which means there's a place for that kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
It's hard to find hip hop, really. That's always been my impression. So I mean, I feel like that's good, and I like Spectacular.
I like Spectacular. I think that's a really
idea.
cool hook.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's see. What kind of questions would you have about it? Let's see.
I know. Should we be more specific?
No, I think that's really great. I mean, I think.
I dig it.
Let's see if they're on here, if they have any questions. I don't see Struck on here. No, I think that's great feedback, just to know that like there's a place for it. If you had any production thoughts and, did you think it needed more? And it's totally all right if it doesn't.
What do you think?
I think it's a little hard to really hear.
Yeah, production. It's hard to tell on this. It's possible that it, like, if I heard it on my speakers, it would be different or whatever. But production-wise, it's hard to tell. I think.
But it didn't strike me as like off.
Maybe
like, it struck me as cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It maybe could be cleared up a little bit. Like, one thing that happens to all of our mixes, once we send them to our mixer, when we're producing something, we load it up with a million things. I put like way too many tracks in there, and I know there's too many. But then send it to our mixer, and it's like his first thing that he does is just like mute, as many tracks as he can. So I would say maybe in this one, and maybe as a general rule, like it works for us better this way, is get rid of every unnecessary thing.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah. Just break it down to what is really necessary.
Yeah.
So many times we've been like, how did you make this sound so big? And he's like, I took out half your stuff. Whoa, really? Like, that's amazing.
That's cool. Yeah.
But no, I really liked that one. That really struck me as struck. I didn't even mean to do that.
It's good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to send you this link and see if this one works. We can always do it this way, but this way you have more control to like move it around.
Yeah, that's right.
Sam.
Yeah, let's see.
If not, the way we did it is fine.
Cool.
No?
I don't think it's liking it. It's just stuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Let's do it this way. Share screen, share audio sound. Okay, we're good together.
We are good together even when we're bad. You are a good time, the best I ever had. When you drive me crazy, it's the shortest trip. And our aim is true when we shoot from the hip. Whoa, we're good together. We're good together. You are the only game.
Cool.
That's cool.
Sam,
I
and
like
together.
that. Oh,
Did we miss something?
Oh no, I was just telling you who it was. Sam Hyman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just, I like that guitar riff a lot. Like go 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 go. That's super rad.
Yeah, it feels the track definitely feels spot on for like all sorts of ads to me. I like the production on it too. I want to hear just the vocal, like maybe a little less dry. It doesn't. It's not a big deal, but like
what was I?
it's maybe a little too in my ear or something. You could go all sorts of directions with
You could
that.
go all sorts of directions. You could distort it to get that edgy vibe. I don't know if that would be too much with that guitar that's in there.
A little something on there, but I mean, overall, I think that's pretty nice, and I think, and the production seems cool. I could totally hear
the hook hits really well.
I could totally hear that in all sorts of stuff. I feel like it got more country than I expected suddenly. When it hit the
that's
chorus.
true. I thought it was going to be like a Jack White type thing, and then
but that says to me maybe like in that Chevrolet kind of, truck ad kind of thing. I could see that, or beer. I could see beer ad.
Beer would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that one strikes me.
Yeah.
This is good feedback. This is good feedback, guys. This is, I think, like, a good affirmation that people are on the right track and good stuff.
Yeah, no, that definitely. And that one comes in like right away. Like my ears are caught by like that riff and the drums and everything right at the beginning. It feels good. I would keep listening, where some stuff you hear and you're like, okay, I'm gonna move on real quick. But that was nice. It hit real good right there. So
cool. I love it. All right, we'll just keep doing it like this. This is Kim. Cool. Abracadabra. Sharing. Downloading.
Abracadabra, I think I found the secret, and it works like magic. Abracadabra, quitting smoke and mirrors, and it feels fantastic. Abracadabra, I think I found the secret, and it works like magic. Abracadabra, quitting smoke and mirrors, and it feels fantastic.
That's cool. That voice is killer. What's her name?
Kim, let me find her last name, make sure, because we have a couple. Kim Newmeyer.
Wow, she has a great voice. It's super cool. It's super like indie, rad, poppy. I love her voice.
Yeah. To me, that's cool too. Yeah, that's kind of, I would say that's going with the trend, in ads and stuff a little more so. I feel like it's veering that direction more than the traditional ukulele stuff, which is still there like crazy. But, I feel like it's definitely, that is more the current, like the coolest ads have that kind of sound in it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that seems pretty rad.
Yeah, that's
to
cool.
me too.
That one's really cool.
I don't have much.
These are good.
Yeah.
These are good.
Yeah, they really are good. Yeah, I like the song too. I'd heard it once before, and I think she does a really good job of, this word abracadabra, making that sound cool and fresh and edgy, and it could be like taken
Exactly.
another way, but there's no
Yeah,
sign.
totally.
One thing I like, at first I was like, I don't know if this could work for ads during the verse and kind of pre-chorus, just because it was a little more like negative sounding at first, but I like that. That's just personal taste. I like to hear some like tension in a song. I don't want everything to be perfect all the time, but I do think since it releases and it becomes, positive in a sense at the end, it feels fantastic. And all that.
Yeah.
Like they figured out the tension or whatever. I mean, an ad, of course, they're only going to use that one little piece, but it gives validity to the whole song.
Yeah.
It makes it feel more real. And my feeling is when a music supervisor listens to that and they hear some drama happening, but they also hear something later that they can use in a positive, happy ad or whatever, then it's like fulfilling all the worlds that they need. They feel cool because like this is a real song. That like it's not written for a commercial. Like they're sad here, but they figure it out, so I can use that piece.
Yeah.
So I like that.
It seems really
like
authentic.
that kind of thing.
It's very cool.
We had talked about this song, her and I, recently as well, because the part that releases into what you feel like is the chorus is the verse, I think, is what she said. And the abracadabra is her chorus. So okay, so that makes sense.
No, I thought we had gotten to the chorus, but then abracadabra came a little later. But that felt like chorusy to me eventually. But I did expect it earlier. I thought we were there, and then
she starts, with the chorus, and then yeah.
Oh, maybe I missed that.
I mean, she starts with the abracadabra part, so the chorus starts the whole thing, but it's like in that kind of angsty mood place, so you're like not sure if this is the release or not. So we talked about it kind of in the same place of like, oh, it's like so interesting, but no, the part that like this release positive part isn't the abracadabra part. So how how does that all get put together? But I think because it's so interesting and different, it really works.
Yeah.
I think that's plenty of potential.
Totally.
So.
Cool, love it. All right, next we have Matt Sassano. Share. It's like so many buttons to press. Okay, this is called Light the World on Fire.
Cool.
I've been so many places, surrounded by a sea of faces. Behind each mask, there's a past and a story to be told. And we've all walked the fine line, with hope and fear on each side. One's telling you yes, one's telling you no. There's a few things you should know. We were born to shine. We were meant to hide. We've only got one life, so don't you wanna feel alive? Let's light the world on fire. Shine like a billion stars. We're breaking free from the shadows to burn bright with who we are. Let's light the world on fire. Rise to ignite the flame. And in the face of our courage, the darkness will hide away. Whoa, whoa,
Cool. I always love those big drums.
Yeah.
They're super fun.
Yeah, it had like a Imagine Dragons bleachers kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. I think I really loved the verse, and I really loved the chorus. The in-between section, and this is just personal taste, I think I just want the chorus to bust in. Like, I don't even know if you need that pre-chorus or whatever that was, just because your chorus hits so hard. I almost just want to hear it like smash you in the face right away. So that's probably the only thing I would say. Otherwise, I really liked his voice, and I liked, again, the big drums. It's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. I liked it too. I'm trying to think if I'm trying to remember the pre-chorus thing. I don't remember. I probably agree with you. Just straight to the.
You don't have to.
Our songs are so short. It's ridiculous. You just like.
I know.
Can't stop. Just
that actually is a problem of mine. So it's totally a personal taste thing.
On a, let's see, production note, I would say I couldn't tell if the woes were a little bit just blown out on the. If they overloaded a little bit, or if that was a choice. I can see it both ways. Like, if it wasn't your intention, then you should fix that. But I can also see that just being a cool like approach where you're like, I do that all the time too. I'm like cranking things up and overloading or whatever. So I just didn't know. I could hear maybe some extra like groups on your woes.
That's true.
And I think that might even add to that bigness of the chorus. But it seems like, I mean, the hook and everything, they seem right on for inspirational ad type thing. You know, I could see that working for sure. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see.
It's great feedback.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that's really helpful.
Cool.
Nate, how many layers do you do on gang vocal?
Let's see.
I don't know, like,
It's usually just the two of us,
yeah.
and we're probably doing like 12 tracks.
I think
If we do,
at
on
least,
average, that's like
at least that.
our standard.
Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but yeah, I'd say 12.
There are times it's so weird. Sometimes we have layered like 100 vocals, and we're like, it still doesn't sound big.
It just doesn't make a difference at a certain point. It's like,
like,
it just doesn't.
It's just layering
make a dent.
the same voices forever. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a crowd. Sometimes just that one vocal does pop through, like not even a double, like just with the right little, production on it. Sometimes it allows space. Sometimes we do it. We're guilty of it. We try to fill space with lots and lots of vocals.
Yeah.
And some of the best stuff and the biggest stuff we've done, it has like none in it, and it has less instruments. And it's like, if it's just drums and a bass and that vocal and maybe a pad or a little bit of something, it just I don't know. It's surprising how less is more in that case a lot of times. But there's no one solution.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, and you saying like your partner sometimes takes things away and then it sounds bigger. Like there isn't just one. It's not just doing as many as you can to get it as big, because sometimes that's not what's called for or even gets you that result. So
Maybe this is maybe this is totally unscientific, but I feel like if you think about it in terms of, giant open space, like you want it to sound huge. I want it to sound like the Grand Canyon. There's nothing in the Grand Canyon. It's a giant hole. Like, you know what I mean? You don't fill it with stuff and still say it's a big space. If it was full, it would be like flat land.
It would be a flat land.
But if you're I feel like that does work with songs too, and we're trying to get a handle on it, and I feel like it's making more and more sense. But it's like we cram it full just to make it. Oh, I bet if I add 6 more guitars, it'll sound 6 times bigger.
And it doesn't. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
So mute button.
I love that analogy. I think that's
mute
great.
button is the term of the day.
Yeah, that's really
funny.
I like it. I'm going to picture the Grand Canyon, singing into the Grand Canyon. I like it. So last one we have here is Family. The song is called Family, and it's by John. Oh, I got to do I got to do the share stuff here. Okay.
Family getting together, well, it's that time of year. Traveling in this weather so that they could be here to be with family. Family, family, family. Some came in from the country and some came in from town. Some came far and some came near, and family came from all around to be with family. Family, family, family. Catching up on the latest. Hey, what's new with you? How your kids been doing? So when is the baby due? How's your family? Family, family, family.
Cool.
Cool.
I like that guitar work. That was cool. Like, I love the how hot everything was, all the fingers and strings going. I feel like that kind of sound is really good for those like intimate. I'm sure it was kind of done on purpose this way, but for those intimate commercials, I feel like it'd be like, I don't know. Yeah, it could be like holiday kind of stuff. Obviously, family getting together, whatever scenarios where that's the case. But I feel like Johnson & Johnson, about like where it's parents lovingly swaddling their child or whatever. I can totally see it working for that. and I like the minimalist, like just like the foot stomp or whatever that is. Because my tendency would be like, boom, let's put 50 toms in here, and like some
50
timpanis and
50
whatever,
toms
which would
in the
ruin,
family
which
song.
would ruin it, obviously.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if it releases later into a bigger thing, but I don't feel like it needs to. For it's
Yeah, no, it feels chill the way that it is.
yeah, it seems geared towards that sound that works
Yeah,
and
it
that
feels
kind
like
of thing.
it's supposed to feel intimate and
I feel like
acoustic.
I've seen ads where I feel like it would make perfect sense. I'm trying to remember what they are, but
I
anyway,
think Johnson and Johnson makes sense that whole.
Yeah, those are good references. Yeah. So he just
Yeah.
commented that said there's drinking, I guess, in the lyrics in the next section. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, I tend to think I've changed my philosophy over time.
Yeah.
At first I thought you can't say anything that's a little bit off, or that you wouldn't put in an ad. Like it all has to be useful to,
All the time.
if they wanted to use this part, they had better be able to. So you better not say anything that would disturb anybody or whatever. Now I feel like, no, well, for me, second verse, I'm like, second verse, let's do whatever we want.
Let's do whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, if they can make it that far, then we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, they've got a verse, that's fine.
That's
And even, like, it's really the hook. I mean, sometimes they do use the verses, but
really the hook.
it's really the hook. If the hook is free and clear, unless you're going,
I mean, I guess I would say if you can think of another line that you like as much that would work. I mean, it's just smart to give people as much as they can work with, but we definitely have been like, I love this line and it's the second verse, we're putting it in. So, at some point you got to just go for it and hope that and it is true. Like, I don't even know if any verses have gotten used in a commercial.
maybe once.
One time, the very first line in the song. But mostly it's just, it's about that hook and it's about that post-chorus and all the, that music and those O's. And
We kind of call the second verse our, like, credibility verse.
Yeah.
It's our time to, like, say something we want to say,
Yeah.
and we're trying to figure out how far we can push that or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we said before, a music supervisor doesn't want to feel like you're just writing a song for, like, because you're thinking of toothpaste. Like, they want to hear a song that you wrote because you wanted to write that song. So I think sometimes those little things that don't seem right add to that feeling for a supervisor. They go, I believe it now because I can't use this. So they clearly didn't write it for an ad because I can't use this, but I can use all this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's just a theory. We don't know.
Theory.
Yeah. We're experimenting with that ourselves because it does feel like, well, we gave him a lot.
No, I agree with that. I think that there's something, it adds to your authenticity. It's like, it's not a jingle when there's those, real things in there. We talk about that where your verses can be a little bit like more detailed. They don't have to be so overarching. They can have a little bit more, especially by the second verse. They're like, we know we have what we want or we don't by the time that first chorus is over.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
So we've done our 5 songs, and I'd love, you guys work with artists. You guys are in LA, and I'd love for you to share your info, or people want to get in touch with you. I know people would love to have the opportunity to work with you if they so choose. So how can they get a hold of you?
Sure. Probably
Email.
Email's the easiest, but it's the one you always use. I don't know if you have a way to, or I guess I can just send it to the chat.
Or you can write it in.
I'll try this newfangled thing here.
I can do it too.
We're so not high tech. Oh, here we go.
I did it.
Yay!
Woo! There you go. Megan always asks me if they miss this, so there's no problem. Great. I mean, you guys are incredible. You're talented. You're so fun. I love hanging out with you guys, and I'm so glad that everybody got to meet you and hang out with you too. And I think that everybody here just, feels the energy and the vibe of your authenticity and your artistry and your discipline and hard work that you guys put in all the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
It's
thank
fun
you,
to meet
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you. I can't wait.
How we do this. My classic wave.
I know, I just did it back to you too.
I know.
I was like, cool, let's do it.
Everybody.
All right, awesome. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.